Folks, today's video, we're gonna be planting our raised beds here on the Stoney Ridge farm. Come along, we're gonna show you a simple and easy way to grow and plant your garden. Today's video is brought to you guys in part by our friends at Simply Safe. There'll be a link down the video description for you guys with a discount code also. So let's get busy planting our garden, all right? Folks, welcome to the Stoney Ridge Farm. If this is your first time or your 50th time here, please pound that like button. Consider subscribing to the channel. We're on a 150-acre first-generation farm here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and homesteading is just part of farm life. So we've got one of our raised beds all prepped up right here, and I wanted to show you how nice that looks. And I also want to show you how rough the other beds look too. So all these raised beds are grown up. In other words, the springtime weeds have taken them over, and all I'm going to do is go through and pull out the weeds really quickly and show you guys just how simple it is to use raised beds. You don't have to bend over. It's a huge time saver and it's easy on your back. So without further ado, we're going to be planting our tomato plants today, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this. So this garden bed right here looked like this about 2 hours ago. So you can see my raised beds have been taken over, and this is awesome forage for the chickens. It makes my eggs taste delicious. So we'll go through and we're going to clean out one of these boxes and show you guys real quick. You can also see right over in here, we've got some different grasses, all sorts of stuff. There are volunteer tomatoes in there from last year, and a little bit more right here, some ragweed, all kinds of cool stuff in there. What we got in here? This looks like a volunteer from last year also. Very cool. These are shallots. I planted these about 2 months ago. Actually, my dad came and helped me plant these. Very, very cool. They were like this big when we put them in the ground, and they are just about ready for harvest. It won't be long with the shallots. And I weeded this bed this morning too. It took me about 10 minutes. That's the benefit of having raised beds, guys. They make a huge, huge difference. So let's clean this bed out real quick. Boy, what a treat for the chickens. Look at how much food I put in there for the chickens, and they'll gobble that up. Those 7 chickens will gobble that up probably in about a day or so. Whatever they don't gobble up will be composted right back in there with the manure, and that's what we put on these garden beds. So we put a little bit of compost and a lot of chicken manure. Every fall, I load these up with chicken manure and let it compost over the winter. Boom! Look at that. It went from rags to riches, man. Went from this to that. That's awesome. Now, I won't do this bed just yet because I want to maximize the amount of greenage that my chickens consume. So I'll get that one tomorrow, and then I'll get this one the next day. But we're gonna plant these 2 boxes right now. We've got some green peppers and we've got some awesome tomatoes. So here's our tray of tomato plants. And guys, you see the benefit right now. You're seeing it because I don't have to bend over and crawl all over the ground in order to plant my tomato plants. So what we have here are better boys, and we also have big boys, okay? So big boys and better boys, we'll put all the better boys in one and all the big boys in another. We also have some bell peppers and a few other different things. Now this seed bed right here had watermelons in it and a couple of tomato plants, but you want to rotate your crops if you can. So I've got 5 of these raised beds. My plan is to build 5 more of these raised beds, and these are made of white oak, okay guys? So if you're looking at creating some beds like this, I'll post a link to the video at the end of this video, and I'll also post a link to how I start my seeds. Now I purchased these plants, however, I do typically start my seeds. Now we're gonna go ahead and show you guys how we plant a tomato. Pretty simple stuff, okay? So we got big boys and better boys. All the better boys are going in here, and I can typically get 4 in a row right across here. So we're not talking about advanced mathematics here. We're just talking about putting plants in the ground. Now, a lot of you folks might think, oh, I don't have a very green thumb. Everything I plant dies. Boo-hoo-hoo. Well, don't feel sorry for yourself. Educate yourself. Learn a little bit about gardening. So what we have here is soil that I've cultivated over the years, but you don't have to do that. You can go buy garden soil like this, or you can go to a landscape nursery and you can buy soil like this that's already created just for you. This bed is completely full of wonderful black gold, okay guys? And I've got some sticks, some twigs, some roots, all sorts of stuff in there, and that's okay. We want that biologic material in there so that the earthworms have something to eat. Now let me show you how we plant our tomato plants. We want to space these about 16 inches apart because they're going to get big, really big. Folks, before we go any further, I know you know that home security is very, very important to me. We're going to give a quick shout out to our day sponsor, Simply Safe. I'm going to open up the app. This is a Simply Safe app right here. It's on my phone. You can see we're set in the home mode. That way if a door opens, it alerts me. If we go into the away mode, it will alarm. If we go into the off mode, it will simply turn off. Very, very easily. I can do this from my phone, or I can do it from a keypad inside, or I can do it from a key fob inside. There are 2 inside cameras and 3 outside. One is as far away as my main gate right here, and one is sitting right here looking at us. Of course, you got the Simply Safe logo. You walk in the door here. This thing's all glowing, lit up, very, very nice. This is the key fob that I'm telling you about, and you can just carry that with you throughout your property, wherever you live. This is the keypad right here for when we leave, and it's motion sensitive, so when I wave my hand in front of it, it lights up. Battery powered, really, really cool. All the stuff is battery powered, so when the power goes out, it still works. Up here we have a motion sensor, we have a smoke detector. In the back I have a motion sensor, and all the windows have sensors on them, and there's a camera in my back office. If we look over here, also cool stuff, there's a hidden camera right there. Bam, there's your Simply Safe camera, carbon monoxide detector, glass break sensor, and you can see right here, every door and every window has one of these. Very cool. I've set that off and I've got to punch in my code real quick. There we go. That is the Simply Safe system. Guys, again, you can use the URL simplysafe.com/Stoney Ridge Farmer, claim your 20% discount, and you get the first month free for your service. So in other words, you get your first month of monitoring service for free. Awesome. Cool, guys. Let's get busy, finish up the garden. So we'll take our tomatoes, and we're just going to do this. We're going to give them a little squeeze. They're probably what they call root bound, okay? We'll take our hand, put it right over top here, pat, 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 a little pinch, a little squeeze. It also helps to make sure that they're well watered before you put them in, okay? Come on, little buddy, there we go. Now, we'll lay this guy out, and this is the first one we're gonna plant, and it's about 16 inches from the edge. We're gonna go right in here, we're gonna dig a little hole, we can get rid of that rock. Dig ourselves a little hole, right there, and get our tomato in the ground. And it's just that easy. Now, guys, you can bury a tomato plant up the stem a little bit. It's okay. It will not harm it at all, okay? So you can bury it up the stem. We're gonna go down here to the next spot. So again, round about 16 inches, we'll show you. We're gonna dig a little hole with our hand. If your soil's not this loose, make sure it is. That's your job. Okay, we'll set this guy in. Notice I'm making a little divot, okay? Each one of these will kind of be set down in a little bit of a hole. And the reason they're set down in a little bit of a hole, you'll see in just a minute. We're gonna put 1 quart of water around each tomato plant. Again, we'll squeeze, squeezy squeeze, hold it just like this with your hand, pat, pat, pat. There we go. simple as this. Now that we've got them in the ground, I'm just gonna take my quart jar, and this is rainwater. I harvest the rainwater down here by the chicken coop. We'll give them about a half a quart. We'll go around and we'll get all of them. Okay, I wanna make sure we've got a little moat. Okay, I wanna create like a little moat around that plant right there. And again, go around these. The benefit of having the raised beds like this is that you can just do any of this without having to get down on the ground. Again, this is rainwater. It's a little dingy, that's okay. God made dirt and dirt don't hurt. Okay, another half quart there, another half quart there. And we'll come back and we'll water these again tomorrow in the morning. It's evening time now, it's about 6 o'clock. We'll come back, we'll water these guys again first thing in the morning and ensure their success. Okay. A lot of folks ask, well, how much do I water? Well, you just keep the ground moist around your plant, but it won't hurt it to get a little bit dry, okay? So don't overwater, but these first few days, you honestly just about can't overwater. You just have to use a little bit of common sense, okay? Now, if you're just planting this in the soil in your regular garden, and it's not a raised bed like this, and you don't have imported soil, you can always go get some composted cow manure from your local hardware store and put that around your plants. It'll really help them. It'll give them that jump, and you won't have to use chemicals. See, folks, gardening is easy. It's not hard. You've just got to put a little bit of attention to detail, little details just like this. Guys, I'll post a link to how I start my seeds in the Jiffy peat pots at the end of this video, and I'll also post a link to how I built these raised beds. Now, you could build these yourselves with pressure treated lumber, but just make sure that the lumber you get is rated for ground contact, okay? If you want to line the inside of it, if you're worried about chemicals, you can always line the inside of it with a little bit of mesh or plastic. That way you don't have to worry about any sort of chemicals coming out of the treated lumber. But guys, that's it. It's just that simple, guys. Get out, plant yourself a garden, and live off of the land. It's super easy, and a spot this big, most people have when they're living in town. So it doesn't take much to feed your family and get some wonderful veggies. Guys, thanks a lot. Please pound that like button, jump in, subscribe to the channel. Check out some more Stoney Ridge Farmer videos, and be sure you check out that link down the video description to Simply Safe. simplysafe.com/Stoney Ridge Farmer, and get yourself 20% off. Thanks a lot, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. We've got many, many more garden videos to come. See you next time. Woo! Come on down to the Stoney Ridge, bring your wife.